The butter is soft under my fingers, mixed with rosemary and thyme, just the way Richard taught me 35 years ago. I work it carefully under the skin of the 22-pound turkey, feeling the familiar texture, remembering his hands guiding mine the first Thanksgiving after we married. "Gently, Maggie," he'd say. "You're not performing surgery." The memory makes me smile even as my hands tremble slightly. But it's not the recipe making me nervous. It's Derek. He's been standing in the kitchen doorway for 15 minutes now, arms crossed, watching every move I make with that look I've learned to recognize over the past 6 months. That cold, calculating stare that makes the temperature in the room drop 10 degrees. I can hear Vanessa in the living room, some cheerful Christmas movie playing on the television. The volume seems louder than it needs to be. "You're doing it wrong," Derek says for the 3rd time. His voice has that edge to it now, sharp like broken glass. I take a breath and keep my tone pleasant, non-confrontational. This is how Richard's grandmother taught him. It's been our family recipe for generations. "Richard's dead," Derek says flatly. "Has been for 4 years. Maybe it's time to try something new." The cruelty of it takes my breath away. I straighten up from the turkey, wiping my hands on my apron, and turn to face him. "Derek, I understand you might do things differently, but this is my kitchen and my Christmas dinner. I've been making this turkey since before you were born." That's apparently the wrong thing to say. His jaw tightens, and he pushes off from the doorway. 3 long strides, and he's across my kitchen, invading my space. I can smell the bourbon on his breath, even though it's only 2 in the afternoon. "Your kitchen? Your dinner? Your house?" He's inches from my face now. "That's the problem with you, Margaret. Everything has to be your way. The queen in her castle, controlling everything and everyone. Derek, please, let's not do this on Christmas Eve." Before I can finish the sentence, his hands are on my shoulders and he shoves me. Hard. Not a gentle push, not an accidental bump. Real force behind it, the kind meant to hurt, to dominate, to remind me who's stronger. My hip catches the edge of the kitchen island and pain explodes through my side. I'm falling, my feet sliding on the tile floor, hands grasping at nothing. The Portuguese ceramic tiles Richard and I picked out together in 1998 are suddenly rushing up to meet me. My knees hit first, then my palms, the impact jarring through my wrists. My reading glasses clatter off and skid under the stove. I'm on the floor of my own kitchen. The butter-stained apron is twisted around me. Through the archway, I can see Vanessa on the couch, her back to us, and the television volume suddenly increases. A Christmas Carol. Silent Night. The irony would be funny if I weren't fighting back tears of shock and humiliation. "You're doing everything wrong," Derek is shouting now, standing over me. "Not just the turkey. Everything. The way you treat Vanessa like she's still 12 years old. The way you throw money at her so she stays dependent on mommy. The way you manipulate and control this whole family with your checkbook." I look up at him from the floor. This man I welcomed into my home, fed at my table, helped with $85,000 for his first home with my daughter. This man whose wedding I paid for. This man I defended to my friends when they said he seemed controlling, that Vanessa seemed smaller somehow after she married him. "Get out of my house," I say quietly. My voice doesn't shake as much as I expect it to. Derek laughs. Actually laughs. "Your house? See, that's where you're wrong, Margaret. Vanessa is your heir, isn't she? Everything you have goes to her eventually. So this is her house too. And where my wife goes, I go." He turns to the turkey I was preparing with such care, the 22-pound organic bird I drove 40 minutes to the specialty farm to pick up, the one I was seasoning exactly how Richard loved it, and he grabs it. For a second, I think he's going to throw it at me. Instead, maintaining eye contact like this is some kind of power move. He walks to the sink and drops the turkey into it. The metal basin rings with the impact. "Derek, what are you—" He turns on the garbage disposal. The sound is horrific. The grinding, mechanical roar fills the kitchen as he uses both hands to force the turkey down into the disposal. Skin tears. Bones crack. The butter-herb mixture I spent 30 minutes perfecting spatters up from the sink. The smell of raw meat and rosemary mixes with something burnt as the disposal struggles with what it was never meant to handle. I'm still on the floor, frozen in disbelief. $68 worth of organic turkey, 3 decades of Christmas tradition. The one meal Richard looked forward to every year, the one connection I still have to him besides our daughter. Derek is destroying it piece by piece, and the sound is like something dying. "This dinner isn't happening your way," he says over the grinding noise. "I'm done with you controlling everything, done with you treating my wife like she's your property, done with your guilt trips and your money and your perfect little traditions that make the rest of us feel like we're not good enough." He finally shuts off the disposal. The silence that follows is almost worse than the noise. Pieces of turkey are stuck in the sink, the drain splattered on the backsplash. The kitchen smells like a butcher shop. I use the island to pull myself up. My hip is screaming where it hit the granite edge. I can feel it already starting to bruise. My knees ache from hitting the tile. But worse than any physical pain is watching my daughter finally appear in the kitchen doorway. Vanessa's face is pale. Her eyes take in the scene. Me straightening up, clearly shaken, my apron stained and twisted, one hand pressed to my hip. Derek standing at the sink with pieces of turkey stuck to his shirt, the destroyed remains of Christmas dinner visible in the sink behind him. "What happened?" Her voice is small, uncertain. She knows. I can see in her eyes that she knows. "Your mother tripped," Derek says immediately, smoothly, like he's been preparing this lie. "I tried to catch the turkey, but she'd already dropped it. Shame. Guess we'll have to order something prepared." Vanessa's eyes meet mine. In that fraction of a second, I see everything I need to know. She heard the shouting. She heard the disposal. She heard her husband destroy her grandmother's Christmas tradition and her mother's dignity. And she's going to pretend she didn't. "Oh," she says. Just that. "Oh, that's too bad. Well, we can order from that place in Cambridge, right? They do nice holiday meals." My heart doesn't just break. It shatters into pieces smaller than that turkey in the disposal. This is my daughter, my only child, the baby girl I raised, the woman I supported through her father's death, the person I would die for without hesitation. And she's standing in my kitchen doorway, choosing to believe a lie that even a child could see through. "Vanessa," I say carefully, "I need to talk to you, alone." Derek immediately puts his arm around her shoulders. The gesture looks protective, but I recognize it now for what it is. Possessive, controlling, a silent warning. "Whatever you need to say to my wife, you can say in front of me. We don't keep secrets in our marriage." Vanessa doesn't shrug off his arm, doesn't step away, doesn't protest. She just looks at me with those pleading eyes that say, "Please, Mom, don't make this harder. Don't make me choose. Don't make me see what I'm not ready to see. Mom," she says softly, "let's not fight on Christmas. Please. It's been such a stressful year. Can we just have a nice holiday?" A nice holiday. As if her husband didn't just physically assault her mother. As if the kitchen doesn't reek of destroyed tradition and violence. As if I'm not standing here with a bruise forming and my heart in pieces wondering how I failed my daughter so completely that she thinks this is normal. "Of course," I hear myself say. "Of course, sweetheart. I'm sorry, I'll clean up and we can figure out dinner." Derek smiles. It's not a nice smile. It's the smile of someone who just won a battle and wants everyone to know it. "Great. Vanessa and I will be in the living room. Maybe keep the noise down. We're trying to watch a movie." They leave. I stand in my kitchen, surrounded by the wreckage of Christmas and my family, and listen to them settle back onto the couch. The television volume stays high. Some old Christmas comedy. Laughter tracks at inappropriate moments. I look down at my hands. They're shaking now. The butter herb mixture is still under my fingernails. I lean against the island and let myself feel the pain in my hip, the ache in my knees, the deeper pain in my chest that has nothing to do with bruises. 4 years ago, I lost my husband. Today, I realized I might be losing my daughter too. But as I stand there, something else happens. Beneath the shock and hurt, something harder starts to form. A resolve I haven't felt since Richard died, since I stopped fighting and started just surviving. Derek said something revealing in his anger. He mentioned controlling with my checkbook, mentioned Vanessa being my heir. This wasn't random violence born of too much holiday stress and bourbon. This was calculated, strategic. I walk slowly to the sink and look at the destroyed turkey. Then I take out my phone. My hands are steadier now. I pull up the camera and photograph the mess in the sink, the splatters on the backsplash, the pieces of meat in the disposal. Then I lift my blouse and photograph the bruise already forming on my hip, dark purple spreading across pale skin. I photograph my scraped palms, my stained apron, the broken reading glasses under the stove. From the living room, I hear Vanessa laugh at something in the movie. It sounds forced, brittle, like she's trying too hard to convince herself everything is normal. I save the photos to a locked folder on my phone. Then I open my contacts and find Patricia Morrison. Patricia, my college roommate, my best friend for 35 years, my estate attorney. I start typing a message, then delete it. This conversation needs to happen, voice to voice, but not yet. Not with Derek and Vanessa in the next room. Not on Christmas Eve. I clean up the kitchen methodically. Every piece of turkey goes into a garbage bag. I scrub the sink until it gleams. I wipe down the backsplash. I mop the floor where I fell. I work slowly, giving myself time to think, to process, to plan. By the time I'm done, the kitchen looks perfect again. No evidence of what happened, except the empty roasting pan on the counter and the bruises hidden under my clothes. I check my reflection in the glass of the china cabinet. My hair is still neat in its silver blonde bob. My makeup only slightly smudged. I fix it. The face looking back at me is composed, elegant. The same face I showed boardrooms and difficult clients for 30 years. I walk to the living room doorway. Derek and Vanessa are on the couch, his arms still around her. She's leaning into him in a way that might look affectionate to someone who doesn't know better. But I see the tension in her shoulders, the way she's making herself smaller. I'm going to order from Marcello's, I say calmly. Their holiday package feeds 4. Does 7 o'clock work? Vanessa looks relieved. That sounds perfect, Mom. Thank you. Of course, sweetheart. I smile at her, and I mean it. Whatever is happening, whatever Derek has done to her, to us, she's still my daughter. Merry Christmas Eve. Derek doesn't say anything, just gives me that same cold smile, like he thinks he's won something permanent. I go back to the kitchen and place the order. Then I sit at the kitchen table, the same table where Richard and I had coffee every morning for 28 years, and I let myself feel everything. The fear, the anger, the heartbreak, but also something new. Something that's been dormant since I stopped fighting for my career, my independence, my voice, and started just being a widow, just being a mother, just being quiet. I'm done being quiet. Tomorrow is Christmas. I'll give Vanessa and Derek their presents, serve the ordered dinner, smile and pretend everything is fine. Because I learned something important in 30 years of business. You don't show your hand until you're ready to play it. And I'm not ready yet, but I will be. I sit at my kitchen table long after I've placed the order with Marcello's, staring at the empty roasting pan still sitting on the counter. 4 years. It's been 4 years since everything changed, since the life I built so carefully came crashing down in the space of a single afternoon. Richard died on a Tuesday, October 15th, 3:30 in the afternoon. I know the exact time, because that's when our security system shows the garage door opening, his Lexus pulling in, the interior door to the house never opening. I found him an hour later when I got home from a client meeting. He was slumped against the steering wheel, gone before he even knew what was happening. Massive heart attack. The coroner said he was dead before his head hit the horn. 59 years old. We were supposed to retire together the next year, travel through Italy like we'd always planned, finally have time for just us after decades of building careers and raising Vanessa. Instead, I planned his funeral. Vanessa was 27 then, living in a cramped studio in Somerville, working freelance graphic design jobs that barely covered rent. She'd graduated from Rhode Island School of Design with honors, but finding stable work in her field had been harder than either of us expected. Richard and I had been helping her, a few hundred here and there, paying her car insurance, sending grocery money. Not because she asked, but because that's what parents do. She was destroyed by his death. Absolutely destroyed. Richard had been her hero, the parent she called first with good news, the one she turned to for advice. They had that special father-daughter bond you read about. Every Sunday morning, he'd drive to her apartment, and they'd get breakfast together, just the two of them, their sacred ritual. When he died, she lost her anchor. We clung to each other in those first months, 2 women drowning in the same grief, holding each other up because there was no one else. She moved back home for 6 weeks. We'd stay up until 3 in the morning, looking through photo albums, crying, laughing at memories, keeping him alive through stories. I'd never felt closer to my daughter than in those dark months after we lost him. I threw myself into practicalities because that's how I cope. I'd spent 30 years as a senior marketing executive at Brennan & Associates, the firm Richard and I named together, even though it was primarily my company. I'd built it from nothing into an agency billing $15 million annually. I was 53, successful, respected. But after Richard died, work felt meaningless. Client problems felt trivial. The office where we'd started our careers together felt haunted. 6 months after the funeral, I sold my share of the company to my business partner for $2.8 million. Added to Richard's life insurance, our investments, and the properties we owned, I had a liquid net worth of $3.2 million, plus this house in Newton, fully paid off. I was 54 years old and financially set for life. I retired. That's what everyone called it anyway. Really, I just stopped pretending that marketing campaigns and brand strategies mattered when the person I'd built everything for was gone. Vanessa struggled. Her freelance work was inconsistent. Some months she'd make $3,000, others barely $800. She was talented but anxious, especially after losing her father. She'd call me crying about not being able to make rent, about clients who didn't pay, about feeling like a failure at 28. I helped. Of course I helped. 500 here, 1,000 there. I paid for her therapy sessions after the funeral, bought her a reliable used car when her old Honda died, covered her health insurance, not because I wanted her dependent on me, but because I couldn't bear watching my only child suffer when I had the means to help. Then Derek appeared. It was March, about 11 months after Richard died. Vanessa met him at a coffee shop in Cambridge. He was a real estate agent, 32 years old, with a big smile and bigger promises. He told her he was closing deals left and right, that he had connections, that he was on track to make 6 figures that year. He wore expensive suits and drove a BMW. To Vanessa, still grieving, still struggling, still feeling lost, he must have looked like stability incarnated. They moved fast. By June, they were living together. By September, he'd proposed. Vanessa brought him to Sunday dinners, and he was charming, complimentary, the kind of man who stood when I entered the room and insisted on doing the dishes. He called me Margaret in that respectful way, asked about my day, seemed genuinely interested in Vanessa's career. I wanted to like him. I tried to like him. Vanessa was glowing again for the first time since her father died, talking about wedding plans and future children and building a life. How could I not want that for her? But something felt off. Little things. The way he'd grip Vanessa's hand too tight when she disagreed with him. How he'd interrupt her stories to correct details. The jokes he'd make about her spending too much time with me, laughing like it was funny, but with an edge that made it clear it wasn't. When they got engaged, I suggested a longer engagement. Maybe wait a year, make sure they were ready. Derek's smile had gone cold. We're not children, Margaret. We know what we want. They married in May, 2 years ago. Small ceremony at the Four Seasons, 80 guests. I paid for everything, $42,000. Derek's family was working class from South Boston. Good people, but without the means for the kind of wedding Vanessa wanted. His mother pulled me aside at the reception, tears in her eyes, thanking me for giving her son such a beautiful day. His father, thick Boston accent and calloused hands, told me I'd raised a good girl, and his boy was lucky. I looked at Derek across the reception hall, watching him grip Vanessa's waist as they danced, and felt that same unease. But I smiled and said all the right things because it was their wedding day, and Vanessa looked happy. The trouble started with the apartment. Derek and Vanessa were renting in a mediocre building in Cambridge, $1,700 a month for 800 square feet. Derek kept talking about buying, building equity, being a homeowner. He'd found a 2-bedroom condo in a good building, listed at $425,000. They needed $85,000 for the down payment to avoid PMI. They didn't have it. Vanessa had maybe $12,000 in savings. Derek claimed he had investments, but couldn't access them without penalties. He made a good salary, he said, but it was all tied up in business expenses and market fluctuations. Vanessa asked if I could help. Not demanded, not expected. Just asked, with those eyes that still held traces of the little girl who'd climbed into my lap when she was scared. I said yes. I wrote the check. $85,000 so my daughter could have a home, stability, a future. Derek's gratitude lasted about 3 months. That's when the comments started. Little digs disguised as jokes. Must be nice having a mom who can just write a check like that. Vanessa, did you ask your mother's permission before buying those shoes? We should probably check with Margaret before making any big decisions, since it's technically her investment too. Vanessa would laugh uncomfortably. I'd brush it off, but the comments came more frequently and with more edge. 6 months ago, things shifted again. Derek started criticizing my interference in their lives. When I'd invite them for Sunday dinner, a tradition Richard and I had always maintained, he'd make excuses about being busy, about needing couple time, about how Vanessa needed to cut the apron strings. Vanessa started coming alone sometimes. She'd seem thinner, more nervous. She'd check her phone constantly. Once, I asked if everything was okay in her marriage. She'd smiled too brightly and said, of course, everything was perfect. Derek was just stressed about work. 3 weeks ago, Derek came to my house while Vanessa was at a client meeting. I was surprised to see him alone. He said he needed to talk about our financial arrangement. I made coffee and we sat in the living room, and he told me he thought it was unhealthy how much I was still involved in Vanessa's life, that my generosity was actually control, that Vanessa would never be fully independent as long as I kept treating her like a child. I'd kept my voice level and explained that I wasn't trying to control anyone. I was simply helping my daughter. He'd smiled that cold smile and said maybe I should consider what was best for Vanessa's marriage, not just what made me feel needed. After he left, I'd felt unsettled enough to call Patricia Morrison. Patricia and I met freshman year at Boston College, lived together for 3 years, been in each other's weddings. She's an estate and family law attorney now, one of the best in Massachusetts. I asked her about protecting assets for Vanessa in case of divorce. Not because I wanted their marriage to fail, but because something in Derek's visit had felt like a threat. Patricia drew up paperwork, creating a trust that would protect my assets and ensure that anything I left to Vanessa couldn't be touched by a spouse in divorce proceedings. Standard protection, she said. Smart planning. I signed everything 2 weeks ago. Somehow Derek found out. I don't know how. Maybe he went through Vanessa's papers. Maybe he overheard a phone call. But his hostility since then has been unmistakable. The comments became accusations. The jokes became insults. And today, in my kitchen, it became violence. I look at the photos on my phone again. The bruise on my hip is deep purple now, spreading across my skin like spilled ink. My daughter is in the next room with the man who did this, pretending everything is fine. And tomorrow is Christmas. I think about Richard, about what he'd do if he were here. He'd protect Vanessa. He'd see what I'm finally seeing, that our daughter is in trouble, that the man she married isn't who we thought he was, that the life she's building is built on fault lines that are starting to crack. I'm 57 years old. I've survived losing my husband, selling my company, watching my daughter marry a man I didn't trust. I've tried to be supportive, understanding, patient. I've bitten my tongue and smiled through discomfort and made excuses for behavior that made my skin crawl. I'm done making excuses. Tomorrow we'll have Christmas dinner. I'll play the role Derek expects me to play, the chastened mother who's learned her lesson, who'll back off and stop interfering. But while I'm playing that role, I'll be watching, documenting, planning, because that's what 30 years in business taught me. You don't react emotionally. You gather information, you build your case, you wait for the right moment, and then you act. Christmas morning arrives cold and bright. I wake at 6 out of habit, my body still programmed for decades of early morning conference calls and strategy meetings. The house is silent. Through my bedroom window, I can see fresh snow covering the backyard. The bare branches of the oak tree Richard planted when Vanessa was born, now dusted white. It looks peaceful, picture perfect. Everything this day is supposed to be. The bruise on my hip has darkened overnight. I examine it in the bathroom mirror. Deep purple bleeding into yellow at the edges, roughly the size and shape of the granite countertop edge. I photograph it again from 3 different angles, making sure the lighting captures the full extent of the damage. Then I dress carefully in wool slacks and a cashmere sweater that covers everything. I go downstairs and start coffee. The kitchen still smells faintly of cleaning solution from yesterday's scrubbing. The empty roasting pan sits exactly where I left it, a silent accusation. I put it away in the cabinet where it lives 11 months out of the year, next to the gravy boat and serving platters that were my mother's. By 9 o'clock, Vanessa and Derek arrive. I hear his BMW pull into the driveway, the engine cutting off, car doors slamming. I arrange my face into something pleasant and meet them at the door. "Merry Christmas, sweetheart," I say, pulling Vanessa into a hug. She feels thin in my arms, more fragile than I remember. When did she lose weight? How did I not notice? "Merry Christmas, Mom," she says into my shoulder. For just a second, she holds on tight, like she used to when she was little and scared of thunderstorms. Then Derek clears his throat and she pulls away. "Margaret," Derek says, not quite meeting my eyes. "Merry Christmas." "Merry Christmas, Derek. Come in, it's freezing out there." They come inside and I take their coats. Derek is wearing an expensive-looking sweater I haven't seen before, cashmere probably, the kind that costs $300 at Nordstrom. Vanessa is in a dress that hangs loose on her frame, pretty but wrong somehow. Too mature for her style. I wonder if Derek picked it out. We settle in the living room. The Christmas tree I decorated alone last week stands in the corner. White lights and silver ornaments, elegant and restrained. Richard always wanted colored lights and tinsel, the gaudy joy of childhood Christmas. After he died, I couldn't bring myself to do it that way anymore. Everything became muted, controlled, safe. I serve coffee and the pastries I picked up from the French bakery yesterday morning, before everything fell apart. We make small talk about the weather, the traffic, safe topics that don't require honesty. Derek is charm personified this morning, complimenting the tree, the pastries, asking how I slept. If you didn't know what happened yesterday, you'd think he was the perfect son-in-law. But I know. And when Vanessa gets up to use the bathroom, his mask slips just slightly. "I hope we're past yesterday's unpleasantness," he says quietly, stirring sugar into his coffee. "Holidays are stressful. People say things they don't mean, do things they regret." I meet his eyes over my coffee cup. "Do they?" I'd hate for Vanessa to feel caught in the middle of any tension between us. He smiles, but there's steel behind it. She's sensitive. Stress isn't good for her right now. Something in the way he says, "right now," makes my heart skip. Before I can ask what he means, Vanessa returns and the moment passes. We exchange gifts. I give Vanessa the Tiffany bracelet I picked out months ago, delicate silver with her birthstone. She cries when she opens it, real tears, and hugs me tight. "It's beautiful, Mom. Thank you." For Derek, I have a gift certificate to the high-end steakhouse downtown. Safe, impersonal, expensive enough to be generous. He thanks me with appropriate enthusiasm, and I wonder if he notices that last year I gave him the Tag Heuer watch he'd been admiring. This year, a gift card. The downgrade is deliberate. They give me a candle. Expensive brand, nice scent. The kind of gift you give someone when you don't know what else to get. Or when you don't care enough to try. Vanessa looks embarrassed presenting it. "I wanted to get you those cashmere gloves you mentioned, but Derek thought..." "The candle is perfect," I interrupt, saving her from having to finish that sentence. "I love this scent. Thank you both." Derek leans back on the couch, arm draped possessively around Vanessa's shoulders. "So, Margaret, what time is dinner? The food from Marcello's should be delivered around 5, right?" "That's right. I thought we could do cocktails at 4:30, dinner at 5:30, just like we used to. Just like the old days," Derek says, and there's something mocking in his tone. "All those traditions. Must be hard, keeping them going without Richard." Vanessa stiffens. I see her hand move to Derek's knee, a warning squeeze. He ignores it. "I manage," I say evenly. "The traditions connect me to him, to the family we built. But it's not the same family anymore, is it?" Derek's voice is pleasant, conversational, but the words are calculated to wound. "Vanessa's married now. She has a new family. Things change. People need to adapt." There it is. The real message underneath the pleasantries. Let go. Back off. Vanessa doesn't need you anymore. She has me now. "Mom has always been good at adapting," Vanessa says quickly, tension in her voice. "She built a whole company from nothing. Right, Mom?" "Your mother is certainly accomplished," Derek agrees. "All that success, all that money. Must be strange being retired now, having so much time on your hands. Don't you ever feel like you need more purpose?" I take a sip of coffee, using the moment to control my response. He's probing, testing, trying to establish dominance. I've seen this in boardrooms 100 times. Young men trying to prove themselves by taking down the accomplished woman. It never worked then. It won't work now. I find purpose in my family, I say simply. In maintaining connections, in being there for the people I love. Right, being there. Derek's smile doesn't reach his eyes. Like writing checks. That's being there, isn't it? Derek, Vanessa starts, but he talks over her. I'm just saying, there's different ways to support people. Financial support is one thing, but sometimes the best support is letting people stand on their own, make their own decisions, live their own lives without someone hovering over them with a checkbook. The room goes very quiet. Vanessa is staring at her lap, face flushed. I set down my coffee cup carefully. Are we talking about something specific, Derek? Because if you have concerns about the help I've provided, Vanessa, perhaps we should discuss them openly. I think we discussed them pretty clearly yesterday. His voice hardens. Or did you forget? The way you were doing everything wrong? The way you need to let go? Vanessa's head snaps up. Derek, stop. Stop what? Being honest? Your mother needs to hear this, Vanessa. She needs to understand that you're not her little girl anymore. You're my wife. We make our own decisions. We don't need permission or approval or financial manipulation disguised as generosity. I stand up. My hip aches where the bruise is, but I keep my posture straight. I think you should leave now. Derek laughs, actually laughs. We just got here. Dinner isn't for hours. What? You're going to throw us out on Christmas because I told the truth? You're going to throw us out because I said what everyone's been thinking for years, that you use money to control people, that you can't stand the idea of Vanessa being independent because then what would you have? You'd just be a lonely widow, rattling around this big house with nothing but your precious traditions and your dead husband's memory. Derek, stop it! Vanessa is on her feet now, voice shaking. Stop it right now. He turns to her, and the look on his face makes my blood run cold. Pure contempt. Sit down, Vanessa. No, you can't talk to my mother like that. This is her house. If you can't be respectful... Respectful? He's on his feet now too, and he's bigger than both of us, taking up space in my living room, making it feel smaller, dangerous. I'll tell you what's disrespectful. It's disrespectful that your mother tried to set up a trust to keep your inheritance away from me. It's disrespectful that she treats our marriage like it's temporary. It's disrespectful that she acts like I'm not good enough for her precious daughter. So that's it. That's what this is really about. He knows about the trust. He knows I'm protecting Vanessa's future from him. That trust has nothing to do with you, I say, keeping my voice level even though my heart is racing. It's standard estate planning. Any good attorney would recommend protecting assets from a gold-digging son-in-law, right? That's what you think I am? That's what you've thought since day one? I think you should leave, I repeat. Now. Mom, please, Vanessa says, and I can't tell if she's talking to me or trying to placate Derek. Maybe both. Let's just calm down. It's Christmas. We can talk about this later. There's nothing to talk about, Derek says. Your mother has made her feelings very clear. She doesn't trust me. She doesn't think I'm good enough. She set up legal protections to keep me away from her money. It's not about being good enough, I say. It's about being smart. Vanessa is my only child. Everything I have will go to her eventually. I want to make sure she's protected. Protected from what? From me? Her husband? From anyone who might not have her best interests at heart. The words hang in the air like smoke. Derek's face goes dark red. For a second, I think he might hit me right here, right now, in front of Vanessa. Instead, he grabs his coat from the chair where I'd laid it. We're leaving. Derek, wait. Vanessa reaches for him, but he shrugs her off. Get your coat. We're going. But it's Christmas. We just got here. Dinner. I said we're leaving. His voice is hard, final. You can stay if you want. Stay with your mother who thinks so little of your husband that she needs legal protection from him. But I'm done. Vanessa looks between us, torn, her eyes filling with tears. I can see the war happening inside her. Loyalty to her mother, fear of her husband, the desperate desire to keep everyone happy that's been programmed into women like us since birth. Vanessa, you don't have to go, I say gently. Stay. Let him cool off. We can talk. But even as I say it, I know it's hopeless. Derek has already won this round. He's made it clear it's him or me. And Vanessa, my strong, talented, broken daughter, chooses him. I'm sorry, Mom, she whispers, grabbing her coat. I'm so sorry. I'll call you later. Vanessa. But they're already leaving. Derek storms out first, not bothering to say goodbye. Vanessa pauses at the door, looking back at me with those tear-filled eyes, and mouths something that might be, I love you, before she follows him out. I stand at the window and watch them drive away. Watch the BMW back out of my driveway too fast, nearly hitting the mailbox. Watch them disappear down the snow-covered street. I stand there for a long time, until the cold from the window seeps through my sweater and makes me shiver. Then I go to the kitchen and pull out my phone. Patricia answers on the second ring. Merry Christmas. Please tell me you're calling to invite me over for leftovers because Tom's family is driving me insane. Patricia, I need your help. Something in my voice must alarm her because her tone changes instantly. What happened? I tell her everything. The push yesterday, the destroyed turkey, Derek's reaction this morning when he realized I knew about the trust, the way he spoke to me, about me in front of Vanessa, the way my daughter chose to leave with him rather than stay. Patricia listens without interrupting. When I finish, there's a long pause. Maggie, she says finally, this is abuse. You know that, right? Physical assault, emotional manipulation, isolation tactics. This is textbook domestic abuse. It's not me he's abusing, it's... But I can't finish the sentence because suddenly I'm seeing everything clearly. The weight loss, the nervous phone checking, the way Vanessa flinches sometimes when Derek moves too fast, the too bright smiles and constant apologizing. Oh God, has he hurt her? Has Vanessa said anything? No, she says everything is fine. But Patricia, you should have seen her face this morning. She's terrified of him. She left with him even though she didn't want to. She chose him even though she knows he's wrong. That's what they do, Patricia says gently. That's how it works. He isolates her, makes her think she has to choose, makes her afraid of what happens if she chooses you. Maggie, how long has this been going on? I think back. The weight loss started maybe 4 months ago. The nervousness, longer. The comments from Derek, at least 6 months. But the real change, the fundamental shift in who Vanessa was, that started almost immediately after they married. 2 years, I whisper. It's been happening for 2 years and I didn't see it. You're seeing it now. That's what matters. Now we need to document everything and figure out how to help her. She won't leave him. You saw how she reacted today. She chose him. She chose survival. There's a difference. Maggie, I need you to write down everything that happened yesterday and today. Exact quotes if you can remember them. Times, details, everything. Send me those photos you took, and I need you to do something else. What? Call her. Tonight. Just check in. Don't mention Derek, don't mention what happened, just be her mom. Let her know the door is open. Because when she's ready to leave, and she will be ready eventually, they always reach a breaking point. She needs to know she has somewhere to go. After we hang up, I sit at my kitchen table and start writing. Every word Derek said, every gesture, the way he grabbed Vanessa's shoulder, the way she flinched, the mockery in his voice when he talked about Richard, the calculated cruelty of destroying the turkey. I write for 2 hours. By the time I'm done, it's 4:30. The food from Marcello's arrives right on schedule. Roasted chicken, mashed potatoes, green beans, rolls, all packaged beautifully for a family dinner that isn't going to happen. I tip the delivery driver $50 because it's Christmas and nothing is his fault. Then I unpack the food and put it in the refrigerator, containers of holiday dinner for one. At 6 o'clock, I call Vanessa. It goes to voicemail. I try not to read too much into it. Try not to imagine Derek standing over her, preventing her from answering. Try not to think about what might be happening in that condo I helped buy. Hi, sweetheart, I say to the voicemail. Just wanted to say I love you. I'm sorry about this morning. You're always welcome here, anytime, no questions asked. Merry Christmas, baby. I heat up some of the Marcello's chicken and try to eat. It tastes like cardboard. Everything tastes like cardboard. At 8 o'clock, my phone buzzes. A text from Vanessa. Love you too, Mom. Sorry about today. Derek is right that I need to be more independent. I think we need some space for a while. Hope you understand. Merry Christmas. I read it 3 times. It doesn't sound like Vanessa. The phrasing is off, too formal. And that part about Derek being right, about needing space, those are his words, not hers. I text back, I understand. I'm here whenever you need me. Always. She doesn't respond. I sit in my living room with all the lights off except the Christmas tree, watching the snow fall outside the window, and I let myself cry. Not delicate tears, but the ugly, gasping sobs I haven't allowed myself since Richard's funeral. I cry for my daughter, trapped in a marriage to a man who hurts her. I cry for the grandbaby I suspect she's carrying, the one who'll be born into this dysfunction. I cry for Richard, who would know what to do, who would fix this somehow. But Richard isn't here. It's just me. And crying isn't going to save Vanessa. So I dry my tears, turn on the lights, and I start making a plan. 3 days pass with no word from Vanessa. I text her once a day, keeping the messages light and brief. Thinking of you. Hope you're well. Love you. She responds to every 3rd message with something equally brief. Thanks, Mom. Love you too. Never anything substantial. Never anything real. On the 3rd day, December 28th, I'm sitting in my home office going through financial statements when my phone rings. Patricia, I have the investigator's report, she says without preamble. Maggie, you need to see this. Can I come over? She arrives 40 minutes later with a manila folder thick with documents. We sit at my kitchen table and she spreads everything out like evidence at a trial, which I suppose it might become. Derek Callahan, Patricia begins, is not the successful real estate agent he pretends to be. His last 3 years of tax returns show income of $42,000, $38,000, and $51,000 respectively. Nowhere near the 6 figures he claims. She slides a document across to me. I scan the numbers, feeling sick. He has $47,000 in gambling debt, she continues. Online poker mostly. He's been making minimum payments for 18 months, which is why his credit score is 490. He's being sued by a former client for misrepresenting a property's condition. Fraud, essentially. That case goes to court in March. And Maggie, there's a restraining order from 6 years ago. My head snaps up. What? She slides another document across. Ex-girlfriend, Jessica Murphy, filed in 2019. The report includes allegations of physical assault, threats, property destruction. She dropped the charges 3 months later, but the initial filing is still on record. I stare at the woman's statement. The words blur together, but certain phrases jump out. Pushed me against the wall, grabbed my throat, destroyed my laptop when I tried to leave. Said no one would believe me. He did this before, I whisper. He's done this before, and I let him marry my daughter. You had no way of knowing. He hid it well. And Maggie, there's more. Patricia's face is grim. The BMW he drives? Leased, and he's 3 months behind on payments. The Rolex he wears? Fake, according to the jeweler who examined the photos we took. Even those expensive suits? Our investigator tracked down his tailor. Derek's been paying in installments and still owes $2,200. Everything clicks into place. The expensive gifts he showered on Vanessa during their courtship. The urgency to get married quickly. The immediate push to buy a condo. The $85,000 I provided for the down payment. He needed Vanessa's connection to me, I say slowly. He needed access to money. And when you set up that trust, you cut off his long-term plan. That's why he's escalating. Maggie, men like this are most dangerous when they feel trapped, when they think they're losing control. I look at all the documents spread across my kitchen table. Evidence of lies, debt, violence. Everything Vanessa doesn't know about the man she married. Everything I need to tell her. I have to show her this. She might not be ready to see it. She's pregnant, Patricia. I'm almost certain of it. I saw her hand go to her stomach on Christmas morning. The way Derek said, stress isn't good for her right now. She's pregnant and she's trapped with this man, and I can't just sit here and do nothing. Patricia closes her eyes briefly. Okay, but we do this carefully. We document everything. We prepare for the possibility that she'll defend him, that she'll pull away further. And we make sure we have protection in place for when, if, she decides to leave. What kind of protection? Legal, primarily. I'm drafting an emergency custody plan in case the baby is born and the situation is unsafe. We'll have temporary restraining orders ready to file the moment she asks. A safe place for her to go. Money set aside that Derek can't touch. But Maggie, she has to be the one to ask. We can prepare everything, but she has to walk through the door herself. And if she doesn't? Patricia doesn't answer right away. Finally, she says, "Then we document and we wait and we pray we get another chance before something worse happens." After Patricia leaves, I sit with the investigator's report for a long time, reading every page, every detail of Derek's lies and debts and violence. This is who my daughter married. This is who she's living with. This is who might be the father of my grandchild. At 7 o'clock, I pick up my phone and call Vanessa. It rings 4 times, then goes to voicemail. I don't leave a message. I try again at 7:30. Voicemail again. By the third attempt at 8, I'm genuinely worried. I text, "Vanessa, please call me. I need to talk to you. It's important." 15 minutes later, my phone rings. I grab it so fast I nearly drop it. "Mom?" Vanessa's voice is quiet, careful. "Sweetheart, thank you for calling. Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Why are you calling so much? You're scaring me." "I need to see you. Just you. Can we meet for lunch tomorrow? Please?" There's a long pause. I can hear voices in the background. A television, maybe. Or is that Derek? "I don't think that's a good idea right now. Derek thinks we need some space. And honestly, Mom, after Christmas, Vanessa, I have information about Derek that you need to see." Another pause, longer this time. When she speaks again, her voice is different, harder. "What kind of information?" "Information I can't discuss over the phone. Please, just meet me. 1 hour. Any restaurant you choose. I'll buy you lunch and we'll talk. And if after that you want space, I'll give you space. But please let me show you what I've found. Mom, I don't want to hear conspiracy theories about my husband. If you hired someone to investigate Derek, that's crossing a line. He has a restraining order from an ex-girlfriend for domestic violence." Silence. Complete, absolute silence. I can't even hear breathing. "Vanessa? That's not possible. Derek would have told me. He would have. Tomorrow, noon. Pick any restaurant. I'll bring the documentation and you can see for yourself. I'm not making this up, sweetheart. I wish I was." More silence. Then, so quietly, I almost miss it. "The cafe on Brattle Street. The one with the blue awning. 12:30. I'll be there. Come alone. If you bring a lawyer or anyone else, I'm leaving. Just me. I promise." She hangs up without saying goodbye. I sit holding my phone, heart pounding. Tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll tell my daughter the truth about the man she married. Tomorrow everything changes. I gather all the documents Patricia left and put them in a leather portfolio. Tax returns, debt statements, the restraining order, the lawsuit, evidence of a man who is not who he claims to be. I should feel victorious. I should feel relief that I'm finally going to show Vanessa the truth. But all I feel is dread, because I know what's coming. I know that sometimes the truth doesn't set you free. Sometimes it just shows you how trapped you really are. And sometimes, knowing you're trapped is what finally gives you the courage to escape. I can only hope that's what happens tomorrow. I arrive at the cafe 15 minutes early, taking a corner table where I can see the door. The leather portfolio sits on the chair beside me, heavy with truth. I order coffee I don't drink, and watch every person who enters, my heart jumping each time the bell above the door chimes. Vanessa arrives at 12:35, exactly 5 minutes late. Enough to make me anxious, not enough to be truly defiant. She's wearing jeans and an oversized sweater, no makeup, her hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. She looks exhausted, young, scared. "Hi, Mom," she says, sliding into the chair across from me. "Hi, sweetheart. Thank you for coming." She orders chamomile tea when the waitress appears. Not coffee, chamomile tea. My suspicion solidifies into certainty. She's definitely pregnant. "How far along are you?" I ask gently. Her hand goes instinctively to her stomach, then stops. "I don't know what you mean." "Vanessa, I'm your mother." "I know." Her eyes fill with tears. 10 weeks. "I was going to tell you on Christmas before everything fell apart. I wanted it to be special, announce it over dinner, see you light up the way Grandma said you did when Dad told her I was coming." The tears spill over. But then Derek destroyed the turkey, and everything was ruined, and now he says I shouldn't tell you at all because you'll just use it to try to control us more. My heart breaks and hardens simultaneously. Is that what you think? That I want to control you? I don't know what to think anymore. She wipes her eyes with her napkin. Derek says you're trying to come between us, that you've never accepted our marriage, that the trust you set up proves you think he's just after your money. And maybe he's right. Maybe you do think that. I slide the portfolio across the table. Open it. Mom, open it, Vanessa, please. She stares at the portfolio like it might contain a bomb. Then, slowly, she unzips it and pulls out the first document. Derek's tax returns. I watch her eyes scan the numbers, see the moment she registers what she's seeing. This says he made $51,000 last year, but he told me he made over 100. He said he had a great year, that we were financially stable. Keep reading. She pulls out the next document. The gambling debts. Her face goes white. $47,000? In poker debts? He's been gambling online for at least 2 years, maybe longer. The credit card statements show regular charges to poker sites. He's making minimum payments, but the interest keeps accumulating. But he told me, he said we couldn't afford for me to take that big project last spring because money was tight, that we needed to be careful. I turned down $12,000 in work because he said we needed to save. Her voice cracks. I've been eating ramen and shopping at thrift stores while he's been gambling away $47,000. There's more. She doesn't want to keep reading. I can see it in her face. But she does. The lawsuit, the fake Rolex, the leased BMW he pretended to own. Each document is another lie exposed, another piece of the man she thought she married revealed as fiction. Then she gets to the restraining order. She reads it once, twice, 3 times. Her hands start shaking so badly the paper rattles. Jessica Murphy. Alleged assault. Property destruction. Threats. She looks up at me, face drained of all color. He told me he'd only had 2 serious relationships before me. He said they ended amicably. He said... She stops, presses her hand to her mouth. What did he say, sweetheart? He said his ex was crazy. Unstable, that she made up stories about him to hurt him after they broke up. He said I should never believe anything she said if I ever ran into her. Vanessa's breathing is getting faster, more shallow. Oh God, Mom, he's been lying about everything, everything. Vanessa, I need to ask you something, and I need you to tell me the truth. Has he hurt you? Physically? She doesn't answer, just stares at the restraining order, tears streaming down her face. Vanessa, has Derek hurt you? Just once, she whispers. Just once 2 months ago. We were arguing about you, actually. I'd had lunch with you and forgot to text him where I was. He got upset, said I was sneaking around. I told him I didn't need permission to have lunch with my own mother, and he pushed me against the hallway wall, hard enough that I hit my head. Then he immediately apologized, said he was stressed about work, that it would never happen again. He cried, Mom. He held me and cried and said he was so sorry, that he'd never forgive himself. And you believed him. He seemed so genuinely devastated, and it was just once, just one time. I thought maybe it really was just stress, that it was an aberration. She looks at the restraining order again. But it wasn't, was it? Jessica Murphy thought it was just once, too. Until it wasn't. What happened on Christmas Eve, Vanessa? What did you hear? She closes her eyes. Everything. I heard everything. The shouting, the sound of you falling, the garbage disposal. I knew what was happening, and I turned up the TV because I couldn't face it. If I acknowledged it, I'd have to do something about it. And I was too scared to do something about it. Scared of what? Scared of being alone. Scared of being a single mother. Scared of admitting I made a mistake. Scared that if I left him, he'd... She stops. He'd what? He's been different lately. More possessive. He checks my phone, wants to know where I am all the time. Last week he suggested I close my freelance business, said I should focus on being ready for the baby. When I said no, that I liked my work, he got this look on his face, like I'd betrayed him somehow. She's speaking faster now, words tumbling out like she's been holding them back for months. He doesn't like when I see you, gets quiet and cold afterward, punishes me with silence for days. I've started lying about our lunches, saying I'm meeting clients instead. And last week, when I told him I was pregnant, the first thing he said was, Now you really can't leave me. Not congratulations. Not, I'm so happy. Just, now you can't leave. My hands clench into fists under the table. Vanessa, you need to leave him. Today. Right now. I can't just leave. We're married. We have a lease. I'm pregnant with his child. You're in danger. Your baby is in danger. You don't know that. He's never, except for that one time, He destroyed a turkey with his bare hands to intimidate me. He pushed a 57-year-old woman to the floor. He has $47,000 in gambling debt and a history of violence. Vanessa, these things escalate. You're not safe. Where would I even go? Home. You come home. I've already had Patricia draw up paperwork. We can file for a restraining order this afternoon. Get you out of that condo tonight. You'll be safe, the baby will be safe, and we can figure out the rest as we go. She's shaking her head before I finish. He'll lose his mind. If I just leave, if he comes home and I'm gone. That's why we'll have police there when you get your things. That's why we file the restraining order first. Patricia has everything ready. All you have to do is say yes. I need to think. I can't just make this decision right now. I reach across the table and take her hand. Sweetheart, I know you're scared. I know this is overwhelming. But the longer you wait, the more dangerous it gets. Men like Derek don't get better. They get worse. Maybe if I talk to him, show him these documents, confront him about the lies. Maybe if he knows I know, he'll get help. Go to therapy. We could do couples counseling. Vanessa, no. My voice is sharper than I intend. The most dangerous time for a woman in an abusive relationship is when she confronts her abuser. You cannot tell him you know. You cannot give him a chance to explain or manipulate or threaten. You just leave. I'm not in an abusive relationship, she says, but her voice has no conviction. He pushed me once, one time. That doesn't make him an abuser. He pushed me once too, that you know of. How many times has he grabbed your arm too hard? Stood too close when he's angry? Raised his voice to make you flinch? How many times have you changed your behavior to avoid setting him off? She pulls her hand back from mine. Stop. Just stop. You're making it sound worse than it is. I'm making it sound exactly as bad as it is. I need time to process this, to think. I can't just, I'm pregnant and exhausted and this is too much. She starts gathering the documents, shoving them back into the portfolio with shaking hands. Vanessa, please. I need to go. Don't go back there. Not today. Not until we have a plan. He's at a showing until 5. I have time. I just need to think. She stands, grabbing her purse and the portfolio. Keep those documents, I say quickly. Hide them somewhere he won't look, in case you need them. She nods, not meeting my eyes. I'll call you later. Vanessa, I love you. Whatever you decide, I'm here. But please, please be careful. I will. I love you too, Mom. She leaves before I can say anything else. I watch through the cafe window as she walks to her car, the portfolio clutched against her chest like armor. She sits in the driver's seat for a long time before starting the engine. I pull out my phone and text Patricia. She knows everything. Going home to think. Derek not there until 5. What do we do? Patricia's response comes immediately. Can you follow her? Make sure she's safe? Don't let her know you're there. I throw money on the table and rush outside. Vanessa's car is already pulling out of the parking lot. I run to my Mercedes and follow at a distance, praying she doesn't notice, praying I'm not making things worse, praying for something I can't even name. She drives to the condo in Cambridge, parks in her assigned spot, sits in the car for another 5 minutes before going inside. I park across the street where I can see the building entrance, 3 floors up to the windows of the condo I helped buy. An hour passes, then 2. My phone rings, and I jump. Patricia. I'm outside her building, I tell her before she can speak. She went in 90 minutes ago. I don't know if I should leave or wait or... Wait, Patricia says. Just wait. She might need you. At 3:15, Vanessa's car is still in the lot. The sun is starting to set, winter darkness coming early. I'm about to call her when I see movement at the building entrance. But it's not Vanessa. It's Derek. He's not supposed to be there until 5. That's what Vanessa said. But here he is, walking toward the building entrance with his phone pressed to his ear, and something about his body language makes my blood run cold. He's moving fast, purposefully, angry. I dial Vanessa's number. It rings once, Twice, 3 times. Come on, baby. Pick up. Pick up. Voicemail. I'm out of my car before I consciously decide to move, running across the street, through the building entrance that someone's propped open with a brick. I take the stairs because I can't wait for the elevator. My hip screaming where the bruise is still healing, my breath coming in gasps. 3rd floor. Their unit is 3C. I can hear shouting before I reach the door. Derek's voice. Where did you get these? Where did you fucking get these? Vanessa. It doesn't matter where I got them. What matters is you lied about everything. Your mother did this. She hired someone to investigate me like I'm a criminal. You are a criminal. You're being sued for fraud. You have a restraining order. The sound of something breaking. Glass. Then Vanessa screaming. I don't knock. I don't think. I grab the doorknob and thank God it's unlocked and I throw the door open. Derek has Vanessa backed against the kitchen counter. His hands are on either side of her, trapping her. Documents are scattered across the floor. My portfolio, the evidence, everything. A broken glass near the sink, water spreading across the tile. Get away from her, I say. They both turn. Derek's face is red, contorted with rage. Vanessa's is white with terror. Get out of my house, Derek snarls. It's not your house, and I'm not leaving without my daughter. He takes a step toward me. You did this. You poisoned her against me, told her lies. Those aren't lies. Those are court documents and financial records. That's the truth about who you are. You had no right. I had every right. You assaulted me in my own home. You've been hurting my daughter. You've lied and manipulated, and now you're trapped and you know it. He lunges for me. But Vanessa moves faster. She grabs her phone from the counter and holds it up. I've been recording since you got here. Everything you said. Everything you did. I have it all. Derek freezes. Turns to her. Vanessa, baby, you don't want to do this. I already did it. And I sent the recording to my mother's phone. Even if you delete it from mine, she has a copy. He looks between us, and I see the moment he realizes he's lost. His face changes from rage to something else. Something calculating. Fine, he says quietly. Fine. You want to leave? Leave. But that baby you're carrying is mine too. You'll never keep me away from my kid. I'll worry about that later, Vanessa says, her voice stronger than I've heard it in 2 years. Right now, I want you out of this apartment. It's in my name. My mother paid the down payment. You have no legal right to be here. Half of everything is mine. We're married. Then sue me. I'm sure the court will be very interested in your gambling debts and restraining orders and fraud lawsuit. She walks toward me, giving Derek a wide berth. Mom and I are leaving. Don't follow us. Don't contact me. I'll have my lawyer reach out about the separation. Derek's hands clench into fists. For a second, I think he's going to try to stop us. But then something in his face crumbles. Not remorse, not grief, just cold recognition that the game is over. You'll regret this, he says to Vanessa. Both of you will regret this. The only thing I regret, Vanessa says, taking my hand, is not listening to my mother sooner. We walk out together, leaving him standing among the scattered evidence of his lies. We don't run, but we move quickly, down the stairs, out to the street where my Mercedes is parked. Once we're inside with the doors locked, Vanessa breaks. She folds forward, arms wrapped around her stomach, and sobs. Deep, wrenching sobs that shake her entire body. I hold her, my baby, my brave girl, and let her cry. You're safe now. I whisper into her hair. You're safe. I've got you. I was so stupid, she gasps between sobs. So stupid to marry him, to believe him, to think. You weren't stupid. You were manipulated by someone who's very good at manipulation. But you got out. That's what matters. You got out and you're safe, and we're going to figure out the rest together. We sit in my car as darkness falls completely, holding each other, while Vanessa cries out 2 years of fear and denial and pain. And I hold my daughter and my grandchild, and I know that the worst is over. The hard part is just beginning, but the worst is over. We're going home. We go back to the condo 3 days later with 2 police officers and Patricia. Derek isn't there. He's been staying with his parents in Southie since Vanessa served him with the restraining order. The place feels haunted, empty in a way that has nothing to do with Derek's absence, and everything to do with the memories trapped in these walls. It takes us 4 hours to pack everything Vanessa wants to keep. Clothes, books, her laptop and design equipment. A few pieces of furniture her father bought her. We leave behind the wedding photos, the expensive dishes Derek insisted they needed. Anything that reminds her of who she was trying to be in this marriage. The police officers help carry boxes down to my Mercedes and the U-Haul Patricia rented. "That's everything?" one officer asks as we load the last box. Vanessa looks back at the building, at the third-floor windows of the apartment she's lived in for 2 years. That's everything that matters. We drive away, and she doesn't look back. The divorce proceedings are ugly, but swift. Derek contests nothing. Patricia's hired lawyers make it clear that if he fights, we'll bring evidence of the gambling, the debts, the restraining order from Jessica Murphy, the recording Vanessa made during that final confrontation. He signs the papers 6 weeks after Vanessa moves out. The condo goes to her, bought with my money anyway. She puts it on the market immediately. Doesn't want to step foot inside it ever again. In February, Derek's fraud lawsuit goes to trial. He loses. Loses his real estate license too. Last I heard through the Whisper network of Boston real estate, he moved to Florida. Starting over, I suppose, or finding new victims. I try not to think about it too much. He's out of our lives. That's what matters. Vanessa's bedroom in my house is no longer a guest room. It's hers again, like it was when she was growing up. We repaint it together. She chooses a soft yellow, cheerful and warm. We set up a corner with her design equipment. Another corner with a rocking chair and changing table. Baby Rochelle's corner, my granddaughter, who's due in May. On a Saturday in March, Vanessa and I are in that yellow bedroom assembling a crib when she stops, screwdriver in hand, and looks at me. I need to say something. I set down the instruction manual. "Okay, I'm sorry. For Christmas. For choosing him. For not seeing what you saw. For making you think you'd lost me." Her eyes fill with tears. Pregnancy hormones partly, but also real grief for what we almost lost. "You tried to tell me and I wouldn't listen. You protected me even when I didn't want to be protected, and I'm so sorry, Mom." I move across the room and pull her into my arms. "You have nothing to apologize for. Nothing. You were in a terrible situation and you survived it. That's what matters. But I let him hurt you. I heard you fall in the kitchen and I turned up the TV because I was too much of a coward to face what was happening. You weren't a coward. You were in survival mode. That's different." I pull back to look at her face. "Vanessa, I don't blame you for anything. Not one single thing. I blame him. Only him." She wipes her eyes. "How did you know? How did you see what he was when I couldn't? Because I wasn't in love with him. Because I wasn't being manipulated every single day. And because—" I pause, considering whether to say this, then decide she deserves the truth. "Because I saw my own reflection in you. The way you made yourself smaller to keep him happy. The way you apologized for things that weren't your fault. I did that with my own father for years before I learned to stand up for myself. I recognize the pattern. Grandpa Tom? But he always seemed so nice. He was nice. He was also controlling and critical, and nothing I did was ever quite good enough. It took me until college to realize I didn't have to keep trying to earn his approval, that his inability to give it wasn't my fault." I smile at her. "So when I saw you doing the same dance with Derek, trying so hard to be perfect so he'd be happy, I knew, and it broke my heart. Does it ever stop? The feeling like maybe it was my fault? Like if I'd just been better at reading his moods, or not pushed his buttons, or—" "Yes," I say firmly. "It stops. With time and therapy and distance. You'll get there, sweetheart. I promise." We finish the crib as the sun sets outside her window. Our window now, our home. 3 months later, on a warm Tuesday in May, Rochelle Margaret arrives. 7 pounds, 3 ounces, with Vanessa's dark hair and Richard's blue eyes. I'm in the delivery room when she's born, holding Vanessa's hand, crying as my granddaughter takes her first breath. "She's perfect," Vanessa whispers, holding her daughter against her chest. "She's absolutely perfect. Just like her mother," I say, smoothing Vanessa's sweat-dampened hair back from her forehead. Derek sends a text 3 days after Rochelle is born. Just one. "Congratulations." Vanessa deletes it without responding. He has rights, technically. He's the father. DNA doesn't lie. But he hasn't fought for custody. hasn't asked to meet his daughter. Patricia says he'll probably surface eventually, but for now he's absent, and Vanessa is grateful for the space. We settle into a rhythm, the three of us. Vanessa takes the night shifts when Rochelle cries, and I take the early mornings so Vanessa can sleep. We trade off cooking and cleaning. Her design business starts to flourish again now that she's not being told she should quit. She works during Rochelle's naps, builds a client base, starts making real money. I could get my own place soon, she says one evening as we're doing dishes together. Rochelle is asleep upstairs in her bassinet, the baby monitor on the counter between us. I've been saving. I could probably afford a small apartment by August. I hand her a plate to dry. You could. Or you could stay here. There's plenty of room. And I like having you both here. You don't want your house back? Your peace and quiet? This is my house, my home, and it's better with you in it. I look at her, my daughter who's so much stronger than she knows. But if you need your independence, I understand. I'll help you find a place, help you move, babysit whenever you need. She's quiet for a long moment, drying the same plate over and over. Can I tell you something? Anything. I like being here. I feel safe here. For the first time in 2 years, I feel like I can breathe. Like I don't have to watch every word, monitor every mood, prepare for the next explosion. She sets down the plate. Is it okay if we stay? Just for a while longer? Until I feel stronger? I pull her into a hug. You can stay as long as you want. Forever if that's what you need. This is your home, Vanessa. It always has been. On Christmas Eve, 8 months after everything fell apart in this same kitchen, we're here again. But this time, Vanessa is beside me at the island, helping me prepare the turkey. The 22-pound organic bird from the same farm, seasoned with the same butter herb mixture Richard taught me 35 years ago. Rochelle is 7 months old now, sitting in her bouncer on the kitchen floor, watching us with those bright blue eyes. She babbles happily, waving her chubby fists at the Christmas lights we've strung around the kitchen doorway. Gently, I tell Vanessa as she works the butter under the turkey skin. You're not performing surgery. She laughs. That's exactly what Dad used to say to you. I know. I can't believe I've become him. I like it. It feels like he's still here somehow, teaching me through you. We work in comfortable silence for a while, the kitchen warm and bright, Christmas music playing softly from the speaker on the counter. This is what I imagined when I started preparing that turkey a year ago. Family, tradition, love. I got there, but not the way I expected. Mom? Vanessa says as we slide the turkey into the oven. Yes, sweetheart. Thank you for everything, for not giving up on me, for seeing what I couldn't see, for bringing me home. I close the oven door and turn to her, this strong, beautiful woman who survived something that would have broken other people. That's what mothers do. We protect our daughters, even when they don't want to be protected, even when they push us away. We're always there, waiting, ready to catch them when they fall. And fathers? She glances at the photo of Richard on the mantel, young and handsome, and forever 59. What do? They watch over us, I say softly. They make sure we have the strength to do what needs to be done. Your father is so proud of you, Vanessa. I feel it every day. She wipes her eyes, laughing through tears. Damn pregnancy hormones. I thought they'd be gone by now. Postpartum hormones. They last at least a year, maybe forever. I still cry at commercials. We set the table together, just the three of us. Well, 4, if you count Richard's empty chair, which we do. We always will. At 5 o'clock, Vanessa lights the candles and I bring out the turkey. It's perfect. Golden brown, herb-scented. Exactly the way Richard liked it. Exactly the way it should be. We hold hands around the table, me, Vanessa, and Rochelle, in her high chair between us, tiny hands grasping our fingers. I'll start, I say. I'm grateful for second chances, for courage, for family that fights their way back to each other. I'm grateful for mothers who don't give up, Vanessa says, and for daughters who remind me why I had to leave. She looks at Rochelle, who's gumming a piece of roll with intense concentration. I'm grateful, Vanessa continues, that she'll grow up in a house where women are strong, where we protect each other, where love doesn't hurt. I squeeze her hand. Amen to that. We eat turkey that tastes like tradition, like survival, like hope. We laugh at Rochelle's attempts to feed herself sweet potatoes. We tell stories about Richard, keeping him alive through memory. And later, When Vanessa and Rochelle are asleep upstairs and I'm alone in the kitchen cleaning up, I look at that turkey carcass, stripped clean, well-loved, exactly as it should be, and I smile. Last Christmas, Derek destroyed a turkey trying to destroy me, trying to destroy what my family meant. This Christmas, we made a new one. Better, stronger, ours. Some traditions survive because they deserve to, and some families survive because the women in them refuse to let them break. We're survivors, all three of us, and we're finally, truly home.